The well-known story of Goku starts with a crash landing in the mountains, followed by a peaceful childhood with Grandpa Gohan. But what if that pod landed somewhere else? Somewhere darker? Somewhere where heroes were nothing more than tools of oppression, and villains had their own twisted idea of justice. By the way, if you are also playing games and in World of Warcraft like me, click the link on the description below to level up and farm golds effortlessly. This time, we're diving into one of the darkest alternate timelines in anime history. A version of Earth where Son Goku, the Saiyan from space, is raised not by kindness, but by the League of Villains from My Hero Academia. We'll be exploring just how that changes Goku's personality, power growth, loyalty, morality, and the fate of the entire My Hero universe. Would he still become a hero, or something far worse? Let's break this down. Goku's pod lands in Japan, but not the forest. Let's flip the timeline. Instead of Goku landing near Grandpa Gohan's quiet hut in the Dragon Ball universe, his Saiyan pod rips through the atmosphere of My Hero Academia's Earth and slams into a decrepit alleyway just outside Musutafu, Japan. Tamura Shigaraki is still a teenager at this point. All for One has already taken him in, started shaping him into the next symbol of fear, and he's building his league piece by piece. One night, while wandering the city's outskirts for potential quirk experiments, he stumbles on a crater. In the middle of the wreckage, a weird, spiky-haired toddler with a tail and a serious case of amnesia. Right away, All for One is intrigued. A baby that survived a high-velocity meteor impact with no quirk signature? That's not normal. He takes the child in, hides him from the authorities, and starts running genetic tests. What he finds is almost too good to be true. This isn't a quirk user. This is an alien, a biological powerhouse with limitless potential. So what does he do? He gives him a name, Goku. He gives him a mission: survive, destroy, grow stronger. Nature versus Nurture Villain Edition. Here's the deal. Goku has always been a blank slate. In Dragon Ball, he was naturally kind-hearted, but even that came after he hit his head as a kid. The original Saiyan programming was pure destruction. So what happens when that Goku, the one meant to conquer Earth, is nurtured by villains instead of a kind old man? He's taught from day one that power equals respect, that heroes are fake, that society is broken, that quirks are a lie. They're weak, fragile tools. But he is something more. All for One doesn't let Goku go to public school. Instead, he's trained in the shadows by Kurogiri and Ujiko. Combat becomes his language. He's raised alongside Shigaraki, but isn't treated like an equal. He's treated like a weapon in development. But unlike Nomu, Goku thinks, he feels, and he grows. By the time he's 6, he's tanking hits from villains with physical quirks. By 10, he's soloing entire underground fight rings for training. His power level isn't just rising, it's exploding. And the worst part, he loves it. The League's secret weapon. Fast forward to the early stages of the League of Villains. In canon, Shigaraki is scrambling for credibility, trying to rally misfits like Dabi, Toga, and Spinner. But in this version, he's walking around with a literal alien nuke in training. Goku becomes the League's trump card. He's not just muscle, he's All for One's answer to All Might. Shigaraki gets jealous. The League is terrified of him, except Toga, who develops a weird obsession. Dabi straight up refuses to train with him after getting bodied in a spar. But Kurogiri? He becomes a twisted father figure, one that encourages Goku's emotional detachment while reinforcing that the world hates people like him. You're not human, he says. You're better. The League uses Goku sparingly. He shows up for the dirtiest missions, wiping out pro-hero safe houses, smashing underground labs, stealing quirk-enhancing drugs. He doesn't understand the politics, but he loves the challenge. Quirks versus Kai. Now this is where things get insane. In the My Hero world, quirks dominate the power system. Everything revolves around mutations, transformations, and inherited abilities. But Goku doesn't use quirks. He uses Ki, and that completely breaks the rules. Ki gives Goku a toolkit no hero or villain has ever trained against. He can fly before Endeavor even understands how. He can shoot energy beams from his hands when most kids are still throwing punches. He can sense power levels, which makes stealth quirks useless. No quirk suppressors work on him because he doesn't have one. A 10-year-old Goku is already taking out adult pro heroes. By the time UA's Class 1A begins their first semester, Goku is in his Super Saiyan phase. Yup. With enough Zenkai boosts and rage triggers, Goku hits Super Saiyan far earlier than canon. But instead of it being a moment of righteous fury, it's a moment of pure wrath. All for One loves it. UA gets crushed. So what happens when the League sends their Son Goku into UA? Let's set the scene. It's the USJ arc. Canonically, this is where the League tries to assassinate All Might and ends up fighting Eraserhead 13 and the students of Class 1A. In this timeline, they don't bring a Nomu, they bring Goku, and it is ugly. Aizawa gets wiped in the first few seconds, not because he can't erase powers, but because there's nothing to erase. Goku just decks him straight into the wall. 13 tries a black hole, but Goku just tanks it and throws her halfway across the mountain. The students? They're lucky Kurogiri warps them out. Bakugo tries to challenge him. Goku knocks him out with one flick. Todoroki throws an iceberg. Goku walks through it and snaps his wrist. The only person who stalls him for more than a minute is Deku, because Goku senses something in him, a weird flickering power, one for all. But just as Goku's about to finish him off, All Might shows up. All Might versus Villain Goku. This is the fight that shakes the country. All Might faces off against a teenage Saiyan who has no restraint, no morals, and no idea what holding back even means. The clash destroys the USJ facility entirely. All Might lands blow after blow, but Goku keeps getting stronger mid-fight. His Zenkai boosts kick in, and suddenly he's adapting to All Might's rhythm, dodging faster, hitting harder. But All Might is terrified. He realizes this wasn't a Nomu, this was a kid that evolved during battle, a kid that might surpass even him. Soon. Goku gets rescued by Kurogiri just before being captured. All Might collapses. News breaks out, Japan panics, and All for One smiles. Dark hero or final villain? Over the next few years, Goku continues to evolve. He doesn't go full Ultra Instinct, not yet. But he masters Super Saiyan, hits SS2 by the time Deku gets serious, and starts developing his own versions of Kai-based attacks that look more like Quirks than anything else. What makes him terrifying isn't just his power, it's his confusion. Deep down, Goku doesn't really know what's right or wrong. He's been told his whole life that heroes lie, that villains fight for freedom. But when he meets people like Deku or All Might who actually fight for others, it messes with him. These aren't evil people, and it makes him hesitate. During the Paranormal Liberation War, he's supposed to lead the charge alongside Shigaraki, but when he comes face to face with Deku again, who's fighting with broken limbs just to protect civilians, something cracks. He pulls his punch. That hesitation costs the League the battle. All for One is furious. Shigaraki tries to kill him, and in that moment, Goku finally snaps not in rage, but clarity. He's not a hero. He's not a villain. He's just Goku. Redemption arc or world ender? From this point forward, two timelines emerge. In one, Goku defects. He vanishes into the wilderness like a myth, training alone, trying to figure out what kind of person he wants to be. Years later, he returns, not as a hero, not as a villain, but as a protector. A third option. In the other timeline, Goku goes full Saiyan warlord. Betrayed by the League and hunted by the heroes, he carves his own path, forming a new faction made of quirkless or cast-aside people like him. He becomes a godlike figure, not evil, just untouchable. In both versions, one truth stays constant. Nobody in the My Hero Academia world can rival him anymore, because Goku doesn't play by the rules of Quirks. He breaks them. So, what if Goku was raised by the League of Villains? He'd become one of the most dangerous forces any anime universe has ever seen. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you like this breakdown, hit the like button and drop your wildest Goku and other universes theories in the comments.